The lockers. So you ready to install or what?
Dude, I'm way beyond the lockers now. I'm already on to another project that is
Oh,
the
I saw
worst
like the
project I've ever
16-foot
done in my
friggin' church
life.
pews.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah,
did you finish all of the Seahawk stuff?
I did as much as I could in my shop, which is this
Okay.
set of lockers and a bunch of signage. But then we got to go up there to install it and build a bunch of stuff in place that there's no point in doing beforehand because I don't know what size it needs to be or anything.
Mm.
So that'll be interesting. But we're not doing that till the end of June.
Okay.
So we got a break. But then, foolishly, I took on this other commission project for a local church. They wanted some white oak benches, which seems simple, but they're 17 feet long.
That's a big
And it's been a nightmare. First of all, well, so the way I built them is I built like plywood carcasses and I'm just wrapping them in this white oak. I should have made them modular. I should have made like smaller benches that hooked together with some like purposeful seams that made up the full length. But stupid Jason, stupid, naive, ignorant Jason was like, it would be so cool if these were continuous runs of oak. So one bench is like 15 feet, 7 inches. Then the other bench is 17 feet, but it's L-shaped. So I was able to find 16-foot runs of white oak.
Wow.
And that works with the length because of the L. So I knew that there's no way I was going to be able to run 16-foot boards across my joiner with any success. So I paid extra to have them straight lined on both sides, thinking I'll just get them. They'll be straight lined. I can glue them up. That'll be great. I get all the boards. They were all straight lined, but they're all random widths, which is no surprise. And I was like, I'll just run them through the table saw. The problem with 16-foot boards, straight lined, is that they might be straight lined, but they're bowed.
Yeah.
Because they're 16 feet long, which isn't a problem. I can clamp them straight again to clamp them up and do a glue up. But I had no way of changing the width of the board. I'm like back to like a joiner issue. And even if I could send them through the joiner with the bow, I'm going to wind up with like skinny pieces. So I almost was like, screw it. These seams are just going to be all over the place. It is going to be what it is. But then I couldn't bring myself to do that because it was going to drive me crazy. So what I had to do was I had to take 2 boards at a time, domino and glue them together, and that straightened them out enough that then I could run them through the table saw, like do one side and then flip it over and do the other side. So I'd get 2 uniformed boards that were glued together, which meant that instead of doing like 4 glue ups, I ended up having to do like 13 separate glue ups of all these pieces. Not to mention you're dealing with 16-foot boards all the time. So you're having to like carefully spin them around in your shop. And oh my gosh, it was such a nightmare. I finally got all my panels glued up because I needed a total of 4 16-foot panels for the faces of the benches and then the tops of the benches. But I could only get 16 foot, and with the mitered wraps around the edges of the benches, I couldn't grain match the wraps around the edge. So then I'm like picking through pieces, trying to find ones that will like kind of fake that they match. And they actually turned out pretty good. But then trying to cut a miter on 16-foot glued up panels and get it all lined up, it's been a thing. Finally, I got all the benches wrapped yesterday. Well, I finished them up today. The L, I was able to do grain match on the whole L because it's only 7 feet. So I did another 16-foot glue up and I was able to wrap that whole thing. Then I had to hook the tops on, but they want the tops to be removable because they want to be able to access some electrical stuff that's going to be covered up by the benches. So I took a page out of Keith Johnson's book and I basically recessed plywood that was flush with the top of the bench that's clipped in with lamello clips. And then I put the white oak top on that, and then I screw from the bottom through the plywood into the white oak top. So then the whole top will unclip, and then it'll kind of like seat itself back in the right location because of the plywood.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, is this
You have
even going to be
16-foot
possible
tops
with
to lift off?
16-foot tops to lift them off and then get all those lamello clips lined back up? I don't know.
Well, you don't need that many lamello clips. It doesn't have to be every 12 inches. You can do them every, 18 inches.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Or
probably
less.
what it is, but still, I don't know. And then I'm like, do I even need the clips? These tops are
Just
friggin'
use
heavy.
gravity
Yeah,
to
it's
hold it
true.
Well, yeah,
down.
and they can't move because the plywood like locks them into place from shifting around.
Shop Sounds Podcast, a woodworking podcast about nothing.